Captions. How do we know what to write? It's honestly a love-hate relationship, I think, for everyone when it comes to writing your captions for your content. And the best piece of advice I have for you is just to practice. When I first started writing captions for my business, Mazur Creative, or for Ella and Jackson, it was a blank page. I had no idea, and what helped was identifying my target audience, understanding what they need to know, understanding my values and my mission statement, and I had all of that ready to go in my notes. And that's what I would go back to every single time I needed to write a caption. Captions can be the longest part of creating your content, especially if you don't like to write, if you get writer's block and you start to question everything you write, which is something that I used to do all the time. So today I'm going to tell you what you need to know to write a killer caption. And if you haven't subscribed already, then please do so and hit the little bell so you get a notification every single time I post a new video. So as I'm sure you already know, Instagram is a platform used to build relationships. And whether you're a brand or a business, or if you're a personal brand, then you're going to use this platform to engage with your audience, build your audience, and get them to know you and you to know them. So I'm sure you've heard it before, but your captions are what represents your brand. As well as the pretty images or videos that you're posting, you need to know what to write beneath them. And this is by no means salesy. As my good friend Brooke says, do not put $ on Instagram. It's a big no-no. You need to tell your audience that you are the expert in your field. And I know when you start, it's hard to believe that you are the expert in your field, but the more you do it, the more confidence you get in yourself and the easier it will become. And I know that when you start writing them, it's hard to believe. I mean, I used to question everything I wrote and I was like, do people really want to know this? But if you know your audience, then yes, it is what they need to know in order to either convert them into a client or a customer, or to get them to follow you along your journey. So today I'm going to give you 3 content themes that you can stick with when planning out all of your captions. So the first one is value content, the second one is connection content, and the third one is promotional content. So the first one, value content, is pretty self-explanatory. How are you going to add value to your audience or to your customer or to your potential client? And you do this by writing captions that are educational, inspirational, or entertaining. So here, you might write your industry tips and tricks, which, for example, I just did this with my recent YouTube video. I then went and did a caption from that, doing one of the tips from the videos and then asking my audience to then go to my YouTube channel to go watch the rest of the video. And I gave them the tip of cleaning your camera lens before you go out and take the photo. And if you're in a social media industry, then I think that's really valuable. Or if you're in a content creating industry, then your audience will appreciate it if you tell them these tips. The second type of content in value content is industry updates. For example, for myself, when Instagram does a new update or when Facebook does an update, I'll do a caption or a story about it as well to go with my caption that will tell my audience what has been updated. So for my last one, I did an industry update about how Instagram has now done a 2-factor authentication. Is that how you say it? I don't know. So to stop from hackers getting into your account, you can now set up a password, and then you can also set up a code that gets sent to your phone every time someone else tries to log in from a new device, or when you do as well. And that way it stops hackers. And I think that's really valuable for your audience to know as well. The third type of value content is inspirational or motivational type of content. So the other day I did a caption about Elon Musk, and how he suffered through many failures, many people not believing in him before he came to all of his success. And I personally found that really inspiring, so I thought that my audience would also find it inspiring. The second type of content is connection content, and this is what your audience will read to find that connection with you. So the first type of connection content would be storytelling, and I love this content. I find it's really easy to write something that you've experienced. So if you think that your audience will find that valuable, then write a story about it. Give them your experiences, and that also builds trust with your audience that you are in fact the expert in your field. Good ideas under this theme are to do an introductory post, or if you want to do 10 facts about you or a team member, and people love that. The second type of connection content is behind the scenes, which I think is pretty self-explanatory. Tell your audience the behind the scenes of your company or what you're doing, or even if you have a struggle in trying to get a product or you're trying to organize an event. People really resonate with that, and so your Instagram isn't just a big highlight reel, but you're actually giving them something real that they can connect with, behind the scenes, what goes on in order to get to that success. And the third type is promotional content, but not salesy content. So in this, you would write testimonials, any client reviews or product reviews, or even if you do have a sale happening at the moment, you could make it more of a call to action. For example, you could say, you have the sale, but if you want to know more, then head to my website or contact me directly, instead of advertising the dollars within the caption. And that way it gets people more engaged as well. They're interested, and you're more likely to get clicks onto your website that way. So I think with all of these caption themes, you can think of ideas of how to do a call to action within them. So either posing a question or asking them to go to your website or contact you directly. That way it gets more engagement within the post as well. And it can be as simple as, does anyone else feel this way? Or what would you recommend? So that you're getting feedback from your audience as well. Now, something I really like to do if I get writer's block, which does happen, I like to inspire myself. So inspiration equals inspiration. And I always like to put on a podcast or do some reading or even watch a YouTube video, and you never know what's going to spark that inspiration for you to start writing. And I think also, if you just start writing, you will get into that flow. So another tip that I'm going to give you is, when you get that inspiration, go for it. Don't stop, because you can say, oh, I'll come back to it tomorrow, and it's gone. Your idea's gone. Your train of thought's gone. It happens to me all the time, especially before I go to bed or when I'm lying in bed asleep. Like, I will remember that caption idea, and then I wake up, it's gone. No, can't remember. So when you have that idea, put it in your notes, write them. I have notes that are captions. Captions for social media tips, captions for storytelling, captions for business or industry updates, and I have them all segmented, and every time I get an idea, I will write it down. So they are my tips. That is how to think of ideas to write your caption. And I might do another video on how to actually structure your caption, because that is also quite important. But I don't want to make this too long and boring. So thank you so much for watching. And if you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye.